business, I think there's only really two professions that will come out well. The first one are divorce lawyers. The second one, is the baby doctors, but we won't need them for 9 months.
That's right. That's right.
Well, folks, I'm pleased to see everyone joining us today. We have a few more that are going to join, but let's get started. What I wanted to do is just kind of, we can't travel right now, so this is really a time to dream. Sorry, I didn't say hi, Mary Lou and Sandy. Welcome.
Hello.
Mary Lou, you're in Ottawa, and Sandy, you're in Ottawa as well?
Yes.
We have some folks from different parts of Newfoundland, from Delaware, and from Florida as well.
From Florida.
Yeah, guess which one's from Florida?
Yeah. I'm sitting outside.
I'm sitting outside.
Oh man.
It's a beautiful sunny day here.
We thought we can't travel right now, so it's important to at least keep up the conversation about travel so we can dream today and travel tomorrow. So I invited Ashish. He and I have worked together for years. He's the president of Big Five Tours, which is what, 42 years old?
47 years.
47? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, 47 years old. The company started by his parents, and he'll share a little bit about it. But he and I have worked together with a number of clients, especially doing safaris or sending folks to Peru or different parts of the world. Colombia is a hot destination right now. But I just thought I'd invite Ashish to just kind of have a conversation and get us all still dreaming about travel. And he's not a shy guy to involve in these kind of things, so he jumped on in with me, which is just great. And so we'll keep it open for a little bit. But Ashish, I think you have some slides or something you wanted to share?
Yeah, just some pictures, and I've actually plotted on Google Earth my 4 favorite places. Just where they are in terms of remote locations. So whenever we're ready, I'll be happy to share that just to show you where different locations are.
Sure, go ahead.
And then I've got a really cool video. If it's all right, I'd like to just talk a little bit about some of the things that we're doing in Colombia right now. Just as a standpoint of what the power of travel is. It's not just about going and seeing something. It's about what happens, what it brings when you're there. So for the last, I would say, probably about a month or so, maybe a month and a half, we've been involved in Peru and in Colombia with helping bring food to the impoverished. And a lot of these are people that are in tourism in some form. So in Peru, for example, it's a weaving community. And they, during tourism, they were being taught how to be self-sufficient, to provide for their families. So obviously they're struggling now, so helping them. And then in Colombia, getting out to remote islands, what was amazing is these remote parts of Colombia, like Isla Fuerte and Islota, which are near Barranquilla. These places, what's absolutely amazing is the fact that they don't even know what's going on in the world. There's no connection to news, no connection to internet, nothing. To the point where when our guys got there, that they teach the locals how to put on a face mask. They actually didn't even know how to do that. So it just shows you how remote, and just the fact that there's so much that's there. So I thought I'd just share with a couple of different things. I wanted to actually go through and start with Google Earth and I'm just going to share my screen. Oops. So it looks like, Sheila, you got to actually give me ability. You got to make me a presenter.
Okay, I thought I set it up for everybody. 1 second.
So you got to make me a presenter, and then I'll be able to share.
Are you able now?
Let's try. Yes, we are good to go.
Okay.
All right, where am I going to go? I'm going to share my screen. So a couple of things. You guys can see my screen now, obviously. So a couple of things I want to start with. Just my 2 favorite places. These are my 2 favorite pictures right here. So this one right here, in particular, the top one you see here. This is actually a place called Taroudant. Taroudant is in Morocco. It is called the New Marrakesh. It is 3 hours away from Marrakesh. And for every 1,000 people that go to Marrakesh, maybe 10 go here. There's only 2 hotels here. And so this is one of my favorite places. And I'll show you where these places are on a map. But I just want to share this. So many favorite places. And I bring this up because I was feeling a bit nostalgic this morning. So I technically should be in Bogota right now. and I'm clearly not. So I'm here. So I wanted to be able to share just some information and say, look, these are some of the places that have always spoken to me. This next picture is what I love, one of my favorites. Can anybody tell me where this picture is?
Norwegian.
Switzerland.
I
Norway.
wasn't expecting that. Okay. I'll give you guys a hint. It's somewhere in South America.
Oh,
Okay.
Ushuaia?
Sorry?
Ushuaia? No.
Yeah, Ushuaia. Okay, so Ushuaia, that's a good guess. Sheila, what do you think?
Oh, sorry, I'm answering the chat question. Patagonia.
Okay, that's northern Peru. That's northern Peru. It's a place
Wow,
called Juarez.
I was guessing a
Peru.
little south.
So I always ask it because, you know, when we look at this, you look at the calcified water, you look at everything else, you kind of get the sense that this must be somewhere. And the guesses you got, there was a couple there I wasn't actually expecting. But yeah, Ushuaia looks like this, Patagonia looks like this. And why I bring it up is because this part of Peru is actually called the Patagonia of Peru. And there's actually some really, really cool places here. So again, same thing. It's about 6 hours driving from Lima to get here. So it's really in the middle, from Cusco, middle of nowhere. And what's beautiful about it is the fact that it's so untouched. There's only a handful of hotels here. If you want to get into the real Andean culture, the pre-Incan culture, this is where it is. So this is not where you see those touristy villages and whatnot. So that's where this comes in. I had to put this shot up for India because whenever we go to India, you know, often the notion is, well, let me go to this particular tiger reserve. And we always want to break that chain to say, you know, it's where you go that's unexpected. That you may see something. So this picture was taken in a place called the Nagarholi Forest. It's in South India. It's about roughly an hour and a half driving from Mysore and about 5 hours driving from Bangalore. And it actually represents one of the purest experiences because not only do you have the experience of the Nagarholi Forest, but this is also a place to see Asiatic leopards in terms of the experience. So I just want to show you on a map where these places are so you kind of get a gist. So I'm gonna just start right here. And I love to start in Kenya just because of the fact that, you know, I was born in Kenya, so my father was born there as well. So second generation, as Sheila mentioned, 47 years we've been around. I was just here in November. This is the northern part of Kenya. And this is one of only 3 places in all of Africa where you can go tracking wild rhino on foot. So you kind of get an idea. So to give you the lay of the land in terms of what this looks like. So just to kind of, you know, show you, okay, so down here, this is the Masai Mara. If you watch those documentaries from National Geographic, from BBC, Discovery, they talk about the migration, that's down here. That's all down here. Then you've got the Samburu, which is right here. And then you've got Mount Kenya, which is right here. So if you've seen those videos, that's fine. Nobody ever talks about this place right here. It's removed completely, about 2 hours removed from anything resembling a civilization. And what's nice is the fact that that is such the key thing. So that's the key. That's exactly it. So Laura, yeah, you can walk up to rhino in Zimbabwe. Here's the key difference. So you probably did it in a place called Elephant Camp, and I've been out there actually. And there's a couple of different other places as well. It's quite amazing there. What's unique about this place, about Sarah, is it's not private land. It's actually community-owned land. The local Samburu tribe owns this land, and it's a natural preserve. So meaning that the animals actually, within Lewa and within north of there, these animals, it becomes a sanctuary for them. So it's very similar. So it's one of roughly about 3 places, like I said, in Africa. So the other place to do this is and Laura's exactly right, is in Zimbabwe, as she mentioned. The other one is actually in Namibia. There's a place very close called Wanib. It's actually very close to Damaraland. And that's actually where you can go tracking wild rhino as well on foot. So that kind of gives you an idea in terms of the experience. Yeah, you know, and what happens is when you get down here, you're full of crowds, all the crowds surrounding you. When you get here near Mount Kenya, all the crowds are there. And what's nice about here, What's nice about the place in Zimbabwe that Laura mentioned is the fact that you're away from crowds. You're away from just the masses. You can kind of come back and you have a story to tell in terms of the experience. I can't actually help but recognize if I just come back here for a second, the background. There's a virtual background that somebody has here. There it is. Laura, can we unmute Laura? I would love to ask where that picture was taken.
Zimbabwe,
Where in Zimbabwe was that taken?
near Victoria Falls.
Okay, so those two lenses, you were on a walking safari with them, right?
Yeah.
So when you were out there, was there also a cheetah there as well that walked with you?
Not this time, no.
Okay.
That was
so
quite a few years ago, like 2009 or something.
Okay, so I'm trying to think about were you roughly about 20, 25 minutes from the falls?
Not far. You could actually walk to Victoria Falls, the hotel. There was also elephants there.
Yep. Okay. So you were in Zambezi National Park. You were right there because and this is really cool because her background picture, and I'll just show you. Let's go back to that map real quick, and I'll show you guys where that is. It's really cool where Laura's picture is because the way the falls work, it transcends several countries. But between the two, when you look at them, where she was talking about is Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe side. The other side, the Zambia side, is called Mosiatunya National Park. So I'll go back to this again. And Laura, correct me if I'm wrong when I plot this, okay? So if you wouldn't mind staying unmuted for a second, just because I would love to show everybody where you were. Let's keep going down. So you were right around here, right around there. So I'm just going to zoom in on that point right there. So I apologize for the herky-jerky motion here. This is just Google Earth at work. But I want to show everybody kind of rough area of where you would have been. So let's see, I'm going to back out a little bit here, just to be able to show everybody kind of the area. So you're gonna be right around here in terms of where you were. So Laura, how long were you here? For a few nights? Oh, Laura, you're still muted. Sorry, you're still muted. Oh, no, try it again, try it again.
I stayed on the opposite side because at the time they were having a whole bunch of cholera stuff. There were no tourists. I think there might have been 5 of us that were, and there was nobody in the hotel, and it was empty. So,
right on.
Yeah.
And actually, what's different? You were one of the pioneers. I have to tell you, I did my honeymoon. So my wife had never been to Africa, even though her family's from Uganda. So we went on our honeymoon together. We went through Victoria Falls and up there. What's really different now is in Victoria Falls, you can go back and forth between Zimbabwe and Zambia freely now. They actually issue, it's a sticker. It's called a Casa Una visa that they give it, that they stamp in your passport, and you go back and forth. And what's really, really cool about that is, and this is proof that this is real Africa. They suspended the visa for a year, and we thought maybe there's trade embargoes or some sort of, no, they ran out of stickers. They literally ran out of paper to print the stickers, and that was it. That's what caused them to stop issuing those visas for a year. So there's that. So you know, and this is so cool because I love her picture just because of the fact that this is what real experiencers are about. It's not about sitting in a vehicle and staring at animals. It's about being on foot. It's about walking through and you know, in a safe way, getting close like that without impacting the ecosystem, without impacting natural behavior. That's really what this comes down to. So let me come back to the earth real quick, just so I can show you guys where we are. So I want to just leave Safari Africa for a second. And I want to show you guys where Taroudant is. I was showing you where that is. So let's come right over here. And you kind of get a sense over here as well. So Morocco, I'm usually in Morocco roughly about every September, October. I'm supposed to be in France this December. We'll see if I get there. But the plan, if I do get to France, is I'm actually going to go into Morocco and I'm going to get down here to the border. This is something that's brand new, the Western Sahara down here. This is brand new because nobody's actually been out here. About 5 years ago, this whole area was pretty much, I would call it the Kashmir of Morocco. Nobody can get down here. So the goal in December, because it's been open for about 3-4 years, is to get down here and explore the access to get down here, because there is no hotels here, there are no flights here. But that's what the best part of my job is, the fact that I get to go and explore these places. And, you know, my wife goes, "You're going where?" And then she sees on a map and goes, wait, hold on, wait, well, who said you can go there? But then she comes back and actually sees what's there. So if you've actually followed any kind of art in European art, or even Mediterranean art, there's a very famous Moroccan artist named Claudio Bravo. He's actually a fashion designer / artist. Tauradant is his home. This is where he's from. So if I just go back to that picture real quick and just show you guys what Tauradant looked like, that's it right there. You know, so when you think about this, so his name is Claudio Bravo. When you look at his artwork, when you start getting into some of his expressions, in the back of your mind, you want to be thinking that a lot of it is inspired from here. You got these canals, different places. And like I said, this represents the new Marrakesh in terms of what, if you could imagine what Marrakesh would have looked like before all the hotels showed up and all the tourists showed up, it looked like this. And right now, there's only 2 hotels. One of them, one of the hotels, actually, it used to be a form of one of his former residences. So it's turned into a little bed and breakfast. So that kind of gives you an idea in terms of just the overall experience. So if I just zoom in a bit more, you'll kind of get an idea of what this looks like. So you can see, you know, Marrakesh is up here, and it's 3 hours south towards the coast. So you've got the coastline here, Agadir here, Essaouira here, and Walidia somewhere up here as well. If you want to go surfing in Morocco, it's near Safi. It's actually right here, one of the best surfing places in Morocco. However, you get to see kind of where everything is, right? So Ouarzazate, this place is very famous because if you've actually watched the Mummy films, if you've watched Gladiator, if you're watching Homeland on Netflix, that's all filmed here. And I know this because when I was in Morocco last year, it was in June I was in Morocco. And when I went there, I actually spent some time on the coast in Walidia, and I was just talking to somebody. My son was talking to somebody. He was in the pool. I look over. It turns out it's the director of the show of Homeland. And apparently the whole cast had come there just to get lost and not be found by anybody. So, you know, it's not a big fancy property, not a big fancy town. It's kind of just lost out there. And you really get to see what Morocco has to offer. So again, getting away from the normal circuit, the Casablancas, the Fez, and whatnot. So this is kind of where this comes in to be able to show this. So I'll just come back here again and just talk about this again. I think, Sheila, you and I had talked about Morocco at one point, and we had just talked about just the remote aspect. And I love to tell this story because, you know, Morocco, to me, it holds, and this is a funny story, it holds a real dear regard to me. My mother was born in Sudan. So when I was growing up in Kenya, I was traveling to Sudan, and there's something we call karkade. Karkade is just hibiscus tea, but it's the raw hibiscus leaves. So in Sudan and Egypt, you get the leaves, and we would dry the leaves. And what would happen, and this is what doctors would prescribe, if you've got issues with blood pressure, for example, they would tell you, they would tell you, you know, to warm up the drink, to warm up the tea, and then you have it, but you start cooling it off with ice. You don't add any sugar. It's got a very bitter taste to it, and it's amazing. And yes, more pyramids than Egypt is exactly right, Laura. I have to tell you, I went there when I was a kid, and it probably represents the benchmark for what authentic tourism would be. So we would sleep out under the stars. The notion of glamping and astrotourism. Sheila was talking. Yes, I had to look it up after you told me. But the notion of that was actually invented in because we were doing that in the 70s. We were sleeping out under the stars and whatnot. But we would go and you'd get these leaves, and so you'd dry them. You'd just put them out in the sun here, and you'd dry them. And then once they were dry, you would either then warm them up and drink them like tea, or you'd put it on ice and drink it this way. So I went through the Medina in the souks in Marrakesh, in Morocco, walking through asking for karkade to prove to you the Arabic is very different in Morocco and in Sudan. I found out afterwards that karkade is a form of a swear word. in Morocco that I had no idea. I had no idea what it meant. I spent a day saying this to everybody, and then afterwards I went to the person in the hotel and I go, Ambassador Kirkade. He looked at me, he goes, sir, what were you looking for? I said, hibiscus leaves. He goes, no, you said something about their mother. I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
That didn't quite work.
No, it didn't quite work the way I planned it. But
Ashish and I were talking about astrotourism, and in travel, a lot of you folks have traveled an awful lot. There's always a new word or a new phrase that comes out, and astrotourism is the new buzzword. Of course, it's been around forever, but essentially it's just you want to get away from the big city lights, and you want to be able to see the stars in their natural habitat. And this, after COVID, this is really going to be the thing that I think takes off, because people are going to want to not be around crowds, right? And they're going to want to see the stars. So, Well,
I had to look this term up because I know I'm an amateur photographer, and so I'm into astrophotography. And so one of my friends, his name is Robin Stewart. He actually took this amazing photos in the Serengeti. That won BBC Photograph of the Year, I think it was about 3 years ago. And so when she mentioned that, I said, okay, astrophotography. And then she showed me that, and I go, wait a second. They actually labeled the term of going out and staring at the stars. They labeled it now? We've been doing it our whole life. So sure enough, astrotourism it is. That's where it comes in.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, by the way, my son heard you say that earlier. He thought it meant flying off into space in a rocket.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had to kind of tell him, I go, yeah, no, not quite. In your lifetime, maybe. Mine, no. Not
I said that to someone else who thought I was talking about the Astro baseball team.
Well, I wanted to just share these with you, and I'll show you where Juarez is last, and then I want to show you this video. It's a quick video we took in Colombia just to show, we had this videographer put together the work being done there. And a lot of it is done through funds from tourism, right? So all the funds that were put together with tourism were able to help this. And so our counterparts there have now gone together, and we're involved with them. They've now fed in Colombia it's now approaching 21,000 people that they've fed. And I just want to show this to you because I think it just shows the human spirit. So let me first just show you this, this last part on the map, and then be able to go from there. So I'll just back up from here. And we're gonna go right across to Juarez. And you can see it. So just to zoom in a bit, so you guys gotta get a sense of where everything is. So Lima is here, as I mentioned, about 6 hours driving from Lima to get up here, but you kind of get a sense of where everything is. And Juarez, as I mentioned, represents something that nobody even really knows exists, right? So this is and when you think about this, when you're coming into Peru, most people will stay around this area. They'll stay around Lima, Cusco, Machu Picchu. They'll stay around this part. Few people will get up to a place like Juarez, and you can see here. And so just again, to go back to that PDF, that's what Juarez looks like. That whole, the Patagonia of Peru. And there's a place here called Lazy Dog Inn that we use. It's actually an American that owns this hotel. I believe it only has 9 rooms, including 1 teepee. So if you're traveling with a family, you actually can stay in the teepee for a few nights, but the entire hotel is completely solar powered. And that's the key. That's the stuff that we love looking for, is the stuff that's completely solar powered, completely energy independent, to be able to show what's powerful in terms of the experience. So that's where this comes in terms of it. So it's there. And and actually it's funny, Laura's was just talking about sleeping in the Sahara Desert. When we were talking about flying out to Morocco after France in December, one of the things I'm going to be doing going down to the Western Sahara is testing out a brand new place for astrotourism. So it's completely untouched.
It's going to be in your brain now.
It's going to be in my brain. It's going to be in my vocabulary now.
Yeah.
And so I got to you, I've been surfing, and Laura's talking also about Mancora. Mancora is in northern Peru. If you want to go surfing in Peru in those long banana surfboards, the one they made out of straw, that's Mancora. So Laura, you've been all over. You and I should compare notes one day. It's actually going to be pretty fun.
I think she's, what are you, 125 countries, Laura?
158.
Wow. She's got me beat as well.
Wow.
Congratulations.
37 more to go, and then this happens.
I think Anne and Paul, you guys are right up there too with your country count, no?
Sorry, I had us on mute. I think we're around 80 something.
80 something? Okay, yeah, that's right up there. Marcia and Steve, have you guys counted?
114.
114.
Wow.
Wow.
No.
Got some new numbers here, high numbers here. Mary Lou, have you counted or are you into that yet? No?
Oh, still mute.
Still love to see Australia, New Zealand.
There you go. How
I don't blame you.
How about you, Francis?
I'm not up in those numbers, I can tell you that much. But it's more about the experiences for me and time. Part of the thing is I'm not. What do you call it? The retired? Not retired. Yeah, I guess the gentleman there.
What did you say? Reprogrammed? No.
Reprogrammed. Yeah, rewired.
No, rewired.
Rewired.
I like that because I guess for myself, I live in Newfoundland, so to some extent, when you're working, just getting somewhere,
Yes.
just takes so much time and like so I just, with the greatest of envy, and and positive comment to me, envy in that world, just the comfort of speaking and other people chiming in is just pretty cool. So no, I'm not up into those numbers. It definitely is a continual dream, and like you say, now COVID-19 and whatever world that ends up being is definitely going to add to the uniqueness of traveling. But I have to, and Sheila will know where I'm coming from, because when you say astro tourism or whatever, I spend more time alone with no light, in the sense of once it becomes dark, that you kind of sometimes don't realize what you have in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I live in a town of 10,000 people. Grew up in same town that city Sheila did, in 25,000, Sheila, I suppose.
Yeah.
Something like that. So you don't need to get very far outside of those towns or cities before, but it's a pretty grounding experience when you can just look up and all you see is stars and sky.
I didn't realize how beautiful Newfoundland was till I started to travel the world.
Oh, I was in love with it when I went out there. I was absolutely in love with it.
And even some of your pictures there in Peru, like, you kind of look at it like, it's not that big of a feat to get to those types of fjords in Newfoundland, and you just don't realize.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's exactly right. I mean, this is the key thing, right? And you nailed it. It's basically it's the experience. Laura's saying it's 7 Celsius. I don't think you guys want to know what the temperature here is in Florida. It's actually quite nice. It's I think somewhere, if I say Fahrenheit, probably somewhere in the 70s. Although you might start laughing because we have a potential hurricane forming off the coast right now.
Oh.
So
Really?
Wow.
yeah.
I know it was serious last year, so I won't make too many jokes.
Yeah, no, it's a pressure system. It's northeast, so it might actually head to the Carolinas. We'll see. But yeah, I looked at it and said, of course, that's exactly what we need right now. That's perfect.
Matthew, we missed you, I think. Do you keep track of your numbers?
I don't know exactly. I've been to most of the places in Europe, but not Africa or Australia or South America.
Okay.
Or even I've been to Mexico, but not just on a cruise, right?
Well, I was talking to Ashish about, I asked him to pick, what'd you pick, 4 spots? Just kind of to talk about the things that he really likes, the places he really likes, and that he and I work together a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered, have people thought about what is the number 1 spot you would like to go when the world starts moving again? Do you have what's top on your bucket list?
New Zealand for me.
Francis, do you have a spot?
The South Pacific, without a doubt, is just challenges going island to island in the world of COVID-19 is scaring us. So yeah, the South Pacific Islands, without a doubt.
South Pacific. Mary Louise, how about you?
I'd love to go to Costa Rica, more of Europe once everything calms down, and Australia, New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Love the cruise that we did down the Danube with you, Sheila.
Yeah, that was wonderful, wasn't it? Mary Louise was on my big group that we did with Shepherd's Fashions. 75 of us.
Yeah, it was excellent.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
How about you, Marcia?
Steve wants to go to the stands, and I don't. But
he wants to follow the Silk Road.
Yes, and
If you got to
I
meet
would like
Laura.
Tell him I'll meet him there.
Oh, all right. Okay. Okay. And I would like to go to Easter Island. We haven't been there. I was sorry that we didn't put that on the list, Sheila, when we went to Polynesia.
Ah, okay.
I know it's pretty far away, but it could have been done if it was just Steve and I, but we were traveling with my sister and she didn't want to do that.
Well, Steve, Laura's going to meet us in the stands as well. So there's that.
Yeah.
Well, I know. So Sheila, I know we're going to run out of time in about a minute or so on this call.
Yeah. Okay. I missed. Anne, do you have a spot that you'd like to go to?
Oh, Australia. We've been to New Zealand and it was fabulous. So we want to get that back there for Australia.
Sandy, sorry, go ahead.
Lots of other places as well.
Yeah, you have quite a list.